Welcome to my Pregnancy Strength series. We're going to be combining a number of exercises for your upper body to help you feel strong through your pregnancy, and all of these exercises will be supportive for all trimesters. So regardless of where you are in your pregnancy journey, I encourage you to join me with some weights and some space here down on the mat. You're going to want to have a yoga block, a set of medium heavy dumbbells, and one lighter dumbbell. So I have a 5 and a set of 10s for reference, but use weights that feel comfortable for you. So let's get started here on our hands and knees. We're going to begin with our knees directly underneath our hips. My one hand is going to be stacked up on the yoga block so that I have a little bit more clearance for my moving arm. You're going to create a table with your body. We're going to start with our breath, inhaling here. Exhale as you extend that weight long towards your side in line with your hip. Hold there for a moment and then inhale to return that weight back to where we started. Again, exhale, really hug baby as you extend that arm back. That way, as you're moving, you're also incorporating your core work into this exercise. So as we keep moving here, you want to be thoughtful of a few things. We're keeping our spine nice and long all the way through, so make sure that our back is not arching or that we're not arching our neck as we go. I like to keep my eyes relatively in front of me on my mat, so that my spine stays in that elongated position. We also want to make sure that my supporting arm is nice and long. Elbow is extended. We don't want to be bending that elbow and having our shoulders shrug up. We want to really be pressing up through that yoga block for support. Exhale one last time. And now let's go ahead and we're going to switch arms. I'm going to move my yoga block over to my opposite side. I'm going to reset myself up nice and long with my spine. Exhale to extend my moving arm long. Inhale to bring it back in. Exhale. Really hug from your lower abdominals upward. That cue of hug baby is one that can be really helpful to think about as you're engaging and connecting. Think about starting that hug at your lower abdominals. So those two front hip bones as they're wrapping towards each other, and then upward towards your rib cage. Make sure too that you're thinking about that inhale and letting your abdomen expand as you take your breath in, so that you have the ability to contract and support your abdominal contraction as you exhale. Nice job, keep going. Keep thinking about that supporting arm, really pressing up through that yoga block. Last one here, exhale. Good work. So now I'm gonna swap my weights here for my medium set. And we're gonna start here with some bicep curls. Now, I'm gonna invite you to take one hand and you're gonna hold it at 90 degrees at your elbow. And my other arm is gonna be my working arm. So I'm gonna exhale as I bend into this hammer curl, and then inhale to release. Exhale, hug baby, inhale to release. As you keep going here, check in that we're not locking at our knees, that we're keeping a little micro bend. That's gonna allow my rib cage and my pelvis to stay more stacked. If I lock out my knees, then that's gonna press my pelvis forward and increase the arch in my low back, which is not gonna help me connect with my core as well. Also, you may be wondering, why am I holding the opposite weight at that 90-degree angle? Welcome to mom life, where you're gonna be holding baby often in one arm while you're doing something in the other. So this is a really helpful functional practice to strengthen your biceps. One last one. Now we're gonna switch. So my opposite arm gets that work, a little micro bend in my knees. Exhale for the opposite side. Other things to check in here, you wanna really notice your body weight into your feet. Wanna think about that tripod, big toe, pinky toe to heel. We want even distribution of our body weight throughout the whole foot. So check in there. If you're more in your heels, can you distribute your weight a little bit more into the entire foot? That will also help your abdominal team and your pelvic floor distribute your weight more evenly throughout your whole body. Keep breathing. Friendly reminder, sometimes we start to hold our breath as we're working. If you notice that for yourself, just bring that awareness back and reconnect with your breath. All right, now we're gonna move into our overhead press. Go ahead and place one weight off to the side. I'm gonna start with my right side here, and I'm gonna come into a split stance. So I have my left leg in front, my right leg behind me. I'm gonna take my free arm out to the side for some balance. So from here, you're gonna exhale to press up overhead. Inhale to come back down. Open out to the side, exhale, and return. So again, we come to center, exhale as you press overhead. Inhale to lower, exhale to press back up. Keep alternating between these two positions as I point out a few things. As you press up overhead, be thoughtful that your rib cage and pelvis stay stacked. It is really common for people to arch more with their rib cage and low back. As they go up overhead, we want those two connections of our rib cage and our pelvis to stay together as we press up overhead so that we're not loading into our low back. Also check in that you're keeping the majority of your body weight in your front leg. That will also help you to distribute and have better control of that hand up overhead. Let's go ahead and switch sides. So once again, I have the majority of my body weight in that front leg. I'm gonna exhale to punch up overhead. Inhale to bring it down. Open now out to the side, exhale, and return. Overhead strength is really important. A big muscle that helps us with this are the lats. And the lats are a really important muscle that connect your rib cage to your pelvis on the back side of your body. So I like to tell my patients they're basically like your abdominal muscles, but for the back side of the body, connecting rib cage and pelvis together. So having strong lats really helps us to feel more connected and stronger through the whole body, especially as we're growing a human. Friendly reminder to check in with your breath. Keep it going as you move. Last one here. Good work. Our next exercise here, we're gonna go into a bent over row. So I'm gonna turn to the side so you can see me a little bit better here. I'm gonna have the weight starting in my right hand. I'm gonna come into a bit of what I call sort of a half lunge position. I like to take my free hand behind my low back to keep me honest with my spine. We wanna stay long throughout. I'm gonna exhale to pull into my row, release that weight, and then press through my front leg to stand back up tall. So again, we hinge, exhale, and stand back up tall. So hinging, picking something up, and then returning back up to standing is also a really functional movement for regular life, but especially mom life. So hence why we're working on this here, using our breath and building strength into that hinge. So we're getting a little bit of glute work here, as well as my upper body with my row. Check in that you're continuing to breathe as you go. So I'm inhaling to come down, exhale to pull, and then stand. Last one. And return tall. Good. Now we're gonna switch. You're gonna hinge down into that position, ground through the tripod of your front foot, exhale, and stand tall. Inhale, exhale, and return. So once again, being mindful that we're working on that hinge through our hip, bend through our knee to load into that front foot. Exhale to pull and row. My arm is kind of going out on a 45-degree angle for reference, so I can really feel those muscles up towards my shoulder blade and also into the lats on that same side. We use them a lot for upper body strength, but they also work with our opposite hip. Hence why we're combining both of these. Last one. Good work. Finally, I'm gonna set my weights away over here. I'm gonna bring both of my yoga blocks down onto my mat. We are going to work on push-ups here. Push-ups might not be something that you think about for strength and for mom life, but we need a lot of upper body and chest strength for all the carrying and lifting and loading that you do. So hence why I like to work on these with my patients. We're gonna come into a kneeling position here using my yoga blocks. I'm gonna inhale to lower, exhale to press up. Inhale to lower, exhale to come up. As you lower, be really thoughtful that you're lowering equally on each side and just going through the range where you can continue to breathe well. If this lower angle is too challenging for you, you can increase your incline, let's say using a bench or up and standing using a countertop. So find the angle that works well for you and allows you to be able to build that chest strength while still honoring your breath and that core connection. Really think about that hugging baby as you exhale and press up. And you may even find it helpful to start that exhale and that hug a moment before and then through the rest of the lift. That can be a helpful tip for any exercise that may be more challenging. Starting that exhale a moment before and then through the rest of the movement to give your core a little bit of a head start. Last one here. Great work. I hope you found this 10-minute circuit to be a helpful starting point to be able to incorporate strength work into your weekly routine. I highly recommend incorporating approximately 60 minutes of strength work per week, which basically works out to about 10 minutes 6 times a week. Or if you have a little bit more time and you want to stack 20 minutes, then that gives you 3 workouts per week. And I promise you that those smaller pockets of time really add up to a lot of strength minutes in the week.